She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
All right, folks. Buckle up. The View just swerved straight into crisis mode. Karoline Leavitt, the young, sharp, and unapologetically conservative powerhouse, just dropped a political nuke that sent Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Sunny Hostin into full panic mode. And here's the kicker: she didn't even need to set foot on their stage to do it. This all comes after yet another unhinged tirade from The View. Karoline didn't just sit back and let it slide. She came out swinging with a savage takedown that exposed The View's hypocrisy, torched their worn-out talking points, and dragged the entire show straight through the mud. And the fallout? It's nuclear. The backlash is so intense. There are whispers that ABC execs might actually be thinking about pulling the plug on The View altogether. Yeah, it's that serious. So what exactly did Karoline say that sent Whoopi into full meltdown mode? Had Joy Behar visibly rattled and, believe it or not, left Sunny Hostin completely speechless? Oh, you're going to want every detail, but before we dive in, smash that like button and hit subscribe for more unfiltered, drama-loaded updates. Subscribed. Perfect. Let's get into it.
The View hosts have got themselves into hot water again after they did the very thing they purport to be against: undermining women's success. Joy Behar stunned viewers when she said Donald Trump's press secretary, 27-year-old Karoline Leavitt, only secured her position because of her good looks.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
The comment was bizarre, especially coming from Joy Behar, who is as woke as they come and positions herself as a champion of feminism. This online commentator said, disgusting. Joy Behar of The View accuses Karoline Leavitt of being hired only because Donald Trump thought she was a 10.
Let's set the stage. The View came after Karoline Leavitt again. Why? Simple. She's young, conservative, and refuses to play by their scripted, left-leaning rules. And this time, they dusted off their favorite playbook: mockery, character attacks, and a healthy dose of condescension. They questioned her credibility, belittled her rise, and even floated the tired narrative that Trump only backs her because of her looks. Yep, we've heard that one before. Joy Behar, in her usual smug tone, suggested Karoline's career wasn't earned, but handed to her because, get this, she's a 10 in Trump's eyes. And Whoopi Goldberg, never one to let facts get in the way of a good rant, claimed that without wokeness, Karoline wouldn't even have a platform to speak from. The claws were out and the hypocrisy was on full display.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework, because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you, because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason. Because black people couldn't get into colleges. Because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Yeah. See, this is not black, Asian, this is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure that this was a person's world.
This commentator said, Whoopi is mansplaining the press secretary job to Karoline Leavitt. Hilarious.
And Sunny Hostin, well, she did what she always does, somehow made it about race. But Karoline wasn't about to let that slide. Instead of staying silent or brushing it off, she clapped back with a response so brutal The View's producers are probably still picking their jaws up off the floor.
Oh, please, his opponents are saying to this very day the same rhetoric that led to those two attempts. The second attempt on President Trump's life echoed the sentiment that President Trump is a democracy. And if you're a deranged lunatic and you're mentally ill, you will believe that lie, and yes, you will take political like we have seen in 2 instances against President Trump. Last week, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris said that everyone who showed up to President Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden was a That's despicable, dangerous, divisive rhetoric that is spewed by the Democrat Party every single day. And I'm so sick and tired of the media pointing the finger at Donald Trump and saying that he is sowing division in this country. He is not. The media is for pushing hoaxes like the one that you all pushed today, and the Democrat Party is for pushing lies about him. But the good news is Americans don't buy it. And that's why today President Trump is more popular than he has been since 2016, because people don't trust the media.
Karoline didn't just clap back, she lit the place on fire in a now viral video that exploded across social media. She tore The View to shreds and exposed them for what they really are. A panel of bitter, out-of-touch elites who claim to champion women, but only the ones who parrot their narrative. And Karoline? She didn't pull a single punch. She called out Joy Behar as the poster child for modern-day feminism, saying if you're a conservative woman, they'll mock your looks, belittle your success, and then call it empowerment. So much for supporting all women. Then came whoopee. Karoline dragged her for suggesting she owed her platform to wokeness. Karoline fired back, I got here by working hard. Unlike the unqualified day hires they keep propping up on The View and Sunny Hostin, Karoline wasn't having that either. Sunny wants to talk about privilege? Please give me a break. But the mic drop moment. The View doesn't want strong women, they want obedient ones who follow their script. And I refuse to play their game. Boom. Within minutes of posting the video, Twitter went nuclear. Hashtags like cancel The View and Karoline Leavitt started trending. But wait, it gets worse for The View. They thought they could take a few cheap shots at Karoline, roll their eyes, and move on. Instead, they handed her a megaphone and she used it to launch herself into the national spotlight. She was already a rising star in conservative politics. Now, she's a household name, and inside ABC, sources say execs are panicking, producers are scrambling, leaks are surfacing. And the damage to The View's credibility, it's not just bad, it's catastrophic. There are whispers of major shakeups brewing behind the scenes. Yes, Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg are being mentioned in some very unfriendly conversations. Translation? Their days on The View might finally be numbered, and if you thought the show's audience would blindly rally behind them, think again. Even longtime fans are calling them out, saying this time they crossed a line. One viral tweet said it best: The View preaches empowerment, but mocks any woman who doesn't fit their agenda. Karoline Leavitt just pulled the curtain back on all of it. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the panic is real. Rumors are swirling that big-name sponsors are getting cold feet. Some major brands are reportedly rethinking their ad placements because, seriously, who wants their name tied to this kind of mess at this point? The writing's on the wall. The View has been dancing on the edge for years, thriving on controversy, but this time, they may have finally gone too far. The backlash is fierce, the hypocrisy is glaring, and ABC is staring down a brutal decision: clean house for cancel the show entirely. Because let's face it, The View may live off drama, but when the backlash outweighs the ratings, it's game over. And right now, they're skating on dangerously thin ice. Could this be the moment that finally takes The View down for good? Alright folks, now it's your turn. Did The View finally cross the line? Was Karoline Leavitt's response the wake-up call the media desperately needed? And do you think ABC will actually pull the plug? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and before you go, smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss a second of the unfiltered truth.